back. Hey, everybody. Welcome to a special episode of Twin Linked, your Western ITC Conference tournament coverage. But today we're not talking about that, Dave. Today, Dave
and Dave
of Twin Linked are going to talk about our road to the BAO, where we'll be doing shoutcasting for the ITC tournament taking place at the BAO. Our friends at Frontline Gaming have asked us to participate. And we're saying, yeah, man.
It's going to be exciting.
It's going to be exciting. It's good prep for us. I mean, right now we're just doing the Las Vegas Open once a year. We could use a little more track.
We were going to play in the BAO, but, I'll go ahead and forfeit my 94th place. I probably wouldn't have done that well. There's like 250 players, right?
No. I think there's like 160. They scaled it back. Remember, they cut some tables because it was a little crowded.
I at least would have made 160.
If you showed up day two, we don't know. So hey, ladies and gentlemen, our goal here is we're just going to do a couple of episodes about the road to the BAO and some of the things we're doing to prep our armies, because we're not tournament players. We're garage hammer guys. We like to play in the garage, but we enjoy going to tournaments, not really to win, although winning is fun. But we get to meet a lot of cool people, hang out, and enjoy the social atmosphere of the tournament.
See a lot of different armies. Test yourself. Mm-hmm. It's fun to, we play each other quite a bit, but to go play other people, it's like, yeah, my stuff works. I know how to play other people.
Or sometimes you even get things like rules clarifications. As long as you go in there as a gentleman, not looking to argue and fight, but hey, it's okay to have discussions over rules. There's a lot of rules in the Warhammer game. It's okay to have a discussion, and if you when in doubt, you dice it out, or call a judge over and have them decide on the spot and just move forward. It's not that big of a deal. But I mean, I've learned things at tournament and then found out like for months we were playing something wrong in the garage, right? Like the way barrage used to work in 7th edition and walking out your hits and stuff like that.
I love that. I miss it.
Yeah, I don't think Hort's missed it.
No, you learn a lot, and most of the issues are resolved at the table.
That's right.
And whether, a ref might come over and help you out, or other players might come over and help you out, even if you don't ask them.
Right.
It's like, are you a referee?
Oh, me?
Are you a judge?
Well, but
are you a judge?
But
well, then, no, we got to figure it out. Remember that?
Yes.
That was BAO.
That was
you know who you are.
Yeah.
You know who you are. That was awesome.
So one of the things you want to do, first of all, is choose an army that you enjoy playing. Don't worry so much about the meta. Especially if you're just starting out or just kind of getting back into 8th edition. Maybe you stepped away from the Warhammer table for a while and you want to work your way back in. Just choose something that looks fun to paint. If you don't have everything painted like that, you want to be interested in the army because that motivates you and drives you to seek new results.
I got to
right?
paint my stuff still.
Yes.
But no, like you said, play anything. Play what you want to play, because now more than ever, you've got a chance to be at least somewhat competitive. Everything's not dialed in yet by everybody playing, one of 5 different things.
But when when I was playing Tyranids last night in the garage, and they were getting those assaults off on me, and I had some stuff up front to absorb some of those things, but the whole time I'm thinking, if I saw those 4 Storm Ravens across the table and 2 interceptors of Tim Cherry's list from the Boise Cup, I honestly don't know what I would do. I don't know if I could
shoot at them.
I would.
Best.
But man,
I'd be shooting orc boys at them.
So the key though is if this does show up, if this kind of stuff shows up in you, there's only one thing that can save you, Dave. Bam, right here, the ITC tournament packet. You should have this downloaded. You should have it printed out. You should be soaking this up. You should know the missions in the book. Play to the mission.
Soak it up like gravy.
Right? Soak it up like gravy. You have to learn to play to the mission. It's so easy in tournament play. First of all, because you're on the clock and there's a lot of pressure. Second of all, because you might be used to garage hammer and just trying to kick the crap out of the person you're playing, because that's fun, right?
We play Rochambeau.
Yeah, it's Warhammer, man.
Rochambeau,
I want to meet you in the middle of the table with my trash, and I want to hack it up and have
That's
fun.
why I love 8th edition, because I don't play. I'm learning to play to the mission, but all I want to do is stomp on something, and so now 8th edition is accommodating that for me.
And yeah, because now you can get over there across the table, and you have enough orcs left alive to do some work and do some damage. So,
or I don't.
I mean, you could look at it a different way, Dave, too. You could say, all right, I'm playing to the mission with these orcs, and I want to sit and survive on this objective. You have 3 blobs of 30, and you have mob rules where they can take the blob next door and use that for their... I mean, you could sit there and soak a lot of rounds, right?
The blob next door. Well, not too many rounds. Don't get too excited.
But know what I'm talking about.
They still drop like flies.
Yeah.
But yes, you calculate. You know how long it's going to take for them. That's the weird thing about playing orcs. It's just in your mind you're thinking, all right, how long is it going to take for them to kill all these guys? Because that's what's going to happen.
You're going to lose a lot. Yeah. So you need to learn the ITC tournament packet. Now, there have been some controversies because there's things that are changed in there from what are laid out in the rule book. And when they initially came out, the guys at Frontline were basically saying, hey, we're going to play straight out of the book. And then a few weeks later, they gave us this ITC tournament packet, which alters things a little bit. And there's been a lot of gruff. I mean, I'm one of those guys, I don't comment a whole lot, but I follow a lot of the Facebook groups out there to see what's going on and keep my fingers in the meta. And there has been a lot of gruff that the game hasn't had an opportunity to level itself through play. But you know what? We're talking something very specific. We're talking not Garage Hammer. We're talking tournament play in a tournament environment. And like we said, all the major tournament organizers across the United States of America all agreed, for example, that getting automatically to go first if you drop all of your army units onto the table first was just too unbalancing.
Yeah, that kind of makes it difficult as an orc player because I have to have more units than you. It's just not possible unless I'm going to take 2 Stompas.
Right. Yeah. And so then you'd have these knight lists, right? The knights are coming out there dropping 3 knights and a couple peons in the backfield. They might have a total of 6, 7 drops. I mean, the Chaos Space Marines list I was playing last night, I had 13 drops. Right? There's just no way to beat it.
It's easy to see, and I haven't sat down and done because I don't play those armies. But it would make perfect sense to step back and say, all right, I want to go first, and I want to shoot you. So what am I going to take? And I'm only going to have this many units.
Right.
And I know I'm going to go first, and I know I'm going to shoot you. And that's a heck of a head start.
That is. It's a huge advantage, and it really alters the way people, especially with the shooty army, are going to build their list, right? They're going to build it a very certain way. They're going to stay back. They don't have to be up on the line. It's going to take you larger to get across because they know they're going first, right? So that's one thing. So the Frontline gaming people introduce their gaming packet, and if you do all of your drops first, it gives you a +1, which is still a good advantage. Mm-hmm. But what's important to note is it used to be in the basic rule book, you could use a command strategy point to re-roll things like who's going first, right? Or re-roll your chance to seize the initiative.
I think the +1 is fair enough.
I think so too. We've played it that way in the garage. It seems to work out good. It's an advantage, but it's not a guarantee.
I mean, from a narrative perspective, why should that happen? Why should the guy who's got fewer units go first?
Well, I think that was one of the whole points of drawing in those command stratagems, right? Because in the book, okay, you go first automatically. And then I have a chance to seize on a 6. And I'm sure we're going to see special rules as codexes come out that allow you to seize on something like a 5, right? So now I need a 5 or 6 to seize. I roll, I don't make it, burn a command point, re-roll again. So I built this larger army with maybe 2 battalions and a flyer wing, so I get all these command points. I'm taking advantage of all those command points. So those are kind of the ways we could look at it, but it's tough to go off of because we really don't have the fully developed game. There are no codexes out for armies at this time, right?
Yeah, we don't. No need to get frantic now.
Right.
It's still early. I could understand making adjustments. That's fine, but it's not the end of the world.
No.
Space Wolves.
Space Wolves.
Baby Space Wolves.
So, it's just one of those things that we have to trust these guys. They're going to hammer it out. We're only like that, hammer it out.
Oh, my God, Dave.
I mean, the BAO is coming up. It's a huge tournament. Let's see how it settles. That's going to be one of the real testing waters for all the rest of Warhammer is how the BAO settles out. We're still very new into the new edition. Let's see where it goes. let's trust our friends over the ITC that they want a successful tournament. And the key to that is the middle player has fun. Right?
Yes.
Not the guys at the very tip top. They're going to do whatever they have to do to win.
They're not even having fun. They're miserable. They're just miserable guys. It's like, get away. Don't try to talk to me.
Those top 10 tables are just...
They're good guys.
They're good guys, but it is intense up there, right, Dave? It's the guys in the middle. The guys who traveled, the guys who have a slight chance in their head that they might win this tournament. Those are the guys that have to have fun.
It's like buying a lottery ticket.
A little bit, yeah, but, they have to have fun. And it doesn't matter if you win or lose. If you have fun at a tournament, you're going to go to another tournament, and you're going to have fun, and you're going to meet people, and you're going to expand your relationships,
Doesn't matter if you win or lose. It's whether or not I beat Dave.
Oh, man, you're so lucky we pulled out of the BAO. It's on.
I didn't pull out.
It's on in Sacramento, by the way.
That's what she said. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
At the primer.
That's what she said?
Whatever.
It took me a second.
So, all right. That will be our BAO. Will be the BAO primer.
I like it.
For bragging rights.
Head-to-head competition.
Dun, 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 dun,
All right,
dun,
so
dun.
a few other things to know about in the ITC mission packet is objective placement. Right? So they have standardized objective placement, so that way you can't overload your board with your objectives. If you think about it, like if you knew you're going first, you could definitely overload. Thank you, Dave. Your side. You could set things up, work it to your advantage. The ITC has always really been about symmetry when they build their terrain boards, right? In 7th edition, they wanted 5 pieces of terrain. 1 line of sight blocker in the middle, 4 on the edges. Now Reese is recommending 6, 7 pieces of terrain floating around out there. So they don't have the same cover thing, so you want line of sight blockers. But they're still looking for symmetry. So all the objectives are being laid out equidistant to make the game flow, to force people out into the middle of the table.
I like the way that sounds.
It does. It sounds good, huh? Man, and actually I think it works good. Let's talk about some of our armies and the way it's been going on in the garage, Dave. Let's talk about your orcs for a little bit.
So Garage Hammer, how long have we been out? We've been out since the 17th?
Of last month, yeah.
So what do we got? 2-3 weeks into it? Not quite 3 weeks.
Right.
So I've had 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
One against Dave that we're not going to count that.
Yeah. Oh, man, I cheated so bad. I
right.
cheated so bad on that one. I don't even want to talk about it.
But nonetheless, I learned a lot from that game. Because in that game, I'm playing orcs, and I brought lots of vehicles. I was just excited about the vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
And I still am. But they weren't quite as resilient as I thought they would be. You're still going to get through vehicles.
Yeah.
And they're not popping. I'm not losing 3 trucks in the first round, which could happen. But so even playing you, even though we didn't get the rules right, I could see that that's not the build I want. So I looked at what some other people were doing, and I've gone back to what I've always liked, which is just foot slogging orcs coming across the board.
The Horde.
The Horde.
So let's pause just for a half second and talk about Horde armies, because they are definitely one of the meta things that we're starting to see build up in the ITC. So orcs are definitely a Horde army. Tyranids are definitely a Horde army. But what's strange is you're starting to see these huge conscript units, right?
See, I haven't got to play that one yet.
Astra Militarum, we're seeing these 50-man conscript blobs with commissars to back them up. They're huge tar pits, right? The first round charge guys can't get past them. They're cheap, they're inexpensive, they don't do a lot of damage, but with those units, you have a lot of firepower behind those conscripts throwing it down. With the orcs, in contrast, if you don't take that orc unit out and you're in hand-to-hand combat and they get to attack, they're dealing some hate. Talk about your bonus stacks you're talking about with
that's
me.
one of the things I learned from when I played that first game with you. I'm like, because I didn't read I didn't read everything. I don't read. I learned by watching. Anyway, Dave's got all these buffs on his army. And I'm like, what a bunch of BS. He's getting reroll this, getting plus that. I'm like, what do I got? Do I got anything? And I'm like, I'm griping and moaning when I haven't even looked in my book to see what I could do.
Right.
All right. So I got out my unpainted Thraka.
There you go.
Because when he was, and I got a question. I think we wah every turn. Is that true?
Well, I'm not an orc player. But,
answer that one for me. That's
so
what I thought.
Facebook, rules and queries, right?
Answer that one.
Send in your questions.
Okay. But Irregardless.
You're just proud to use the big word?
Yeah.
Nice. All right.
Regardless. So Thraka, when he was, gives a unit, every unit within 6 inches. The unit just has to be within 6 inches, not the whole unit. +1 attack.
Right.
To their profile.
Right.
So when you've got your standard 6-point
Orc.
boy,
Right.
the chopper now gives you your base 2 attacks, you get +1 attack for a chopper, so you're at 3. Then you got Thraka, that gives you 4. Then where was I getting another one?
Wall banner or something like that?
No, we're almost there.
Okay.
Man, you're messing me up. If you got over 20 models,
There you go. Yeah.
that's that horde thing. You get an extra tax. Now you're at 5.
Right.
Then if you've got a weird boy, and you take Warpath, you give him +1 attack.
6
attacks on a
per orc
6-point
boy.
model.
Yeah.
That's strength 4, hits on a 3. But wait, there's more. Get the Wah Banner, Knob with the Wah Banner, and put him within 6 inches, and they get +1 on their weapon skill.
So hitting on 2s?
2s.
So it's all about finding those bubbles and stacks. One of the things I was talking about with people like Thomas and Dan Hujan when we were going over some of the tournaments that they have played, is you have to find that synergy. You have to find those bubbles. You have to learn how to layer on the stacks. He was talking about what I was doing, right? And he learned from it, and then he went digging through his, and he had to find the stuff that he can use too. Dave, how are you doing on your wins and losses now with your orcs?
So if we don't count the game against
The illegal game?
I played Space Wolves. Now what we've been doing is choosing, let's just go head to head. Let's just go Rochambeau. We're getting the pit, and we're going to fight it out. Play the Wolves. Had some cavalry. That was tough. They were actually tough to take out. And he had these Wolven that were pretty nasty. The cool thing was, who was it? He's got Ulrich, and who's the other guy? Najal.
Okay.
Najal's the caster, right? He blew himself up. It was awesome.
Ha!
He took out like half a dozen orcs with him, but he's putting wounds on his HQs too.
So did he peril twice at least then? He must have, huh?
What was it? Some super horrible roll that if he dies...
Oh yeah, if the
models
die,
removed,
you do 1d3 mortal wounds to every unit
does
within
D6.
6 inches.
Each character is a little bit different, I guess. But anyway, so did well against them. Had pretty decent control the whole game. That game wasn't really up in the air. Then I had a game against Tyranids and the Swarm Lord.
Right. Yeah.
And the Gene Stealers coming in with that guy that burrows up from the ground, getting right on me first round, assaulting me first round. So the orcs were able to hold up. I got hit by a bunch of Gene Stealers. Pretty much took out one of my units of orc boys. Fortunately, a couple of them held up, which allowed me to counterattack.
Right.
Then the Swarm Lord, I had a little bit of time to shoot at him. My opponent should have got him there quicker, I think. Because by the time he got there, he did some damage. But I was able to counterattack with Thraka, which wasn't able to take him out with all of his attacks and heavy-duty wounds.
Swarm Lord's tough.
The big thing was being able to hit him with Deathcopters with buzzsaws. The Deathcopter, it's expensive. 111 points with a buzzsaw. But they're nasty. They hold up in a fight. I remember our games where we'd have a Space Marine and a Deathcopter, and they'd be sitting there forever fighting each other. Now, especially if I put a buzzsaw on there, they're going to tear you up pretty good.
Nice.
They're pretty decent in a fight.
So do you feel like you're really adapting your orc list? Now, let me ask you this, Dave. Against some of those unusual lists, do you have any idea what you do against Tim Traver's Blood Angels flyer list?
Yeah.
What's that?
All my orc boys are going to shoot up in the air.
There you go, right?
I had cannons as well, so I'm going to shoot those. It's really, I'm not doubting that that's going to tear me up really bad. But I've played against flyers already, and it's -1. Well, orc boys shoot 5s anyway,
right?
So it's volume for everybody.
Yes.
But the -1, the flyers are still tough, but that -1 means if you want to focus on flyers, you can eliminate a flyer. Now, when you got 6 of them, that's a problem.
Yes, but they have so many points tied up in one. Maybe it can make a difference to get one of those, 2 of those guys out of the air.
But I took a Daka Jet as well and gave him the extra super shooters, and that the super shooter is not the same kind of weapon as what they had on the Storm Raven and the Storm Talon.
Right.
It's nowhere near the same. It's get a lot of shots.
Mm-hmm.
I get 18 shots. I love
Wow.
that. Well, you need them when you're an orc. But ballistic skill 5, if I shoot them all at one target, I get a +1. So I can hit on a 4. That's amazing for an orc. But they're only strength 6. 1 wound and -1 AP. So it's not something you're going to shoot at a vehicle. I shot it at your vehicle, wasn't successful. Shot at another flyer, not successful. But they give, as an orc player, they give me something I don't have, which is range. Because it's flying that pattern. And you're now you could touch any part of the table.
That's true.
Where you don't normally.
At least you present a threat, right?
Yes.
You might be able to fly behind a character.
I was able
and
to hit
finally
it.
get a shot
Yes.
at a character that's being
Yes. Absolutely.
Bubble wrapped on one side, but not on the other.
Yes, got to hit a character, got to hit units I wanted to hit. So it's been great. I've been excited as an orc player. Lots of different things. Stuff you didn't get to do as an orc player.
Yeah.
But stuff you always did as an orc player. We're not changed. And I think that's what's been exciting about 8th edition. I think Tau's still Tau. Eldar is still Eldar. They've still got that identity.
The fundamentals are
Yeah.
still there. So right now, is there anything you see yourself doing, anything you want to bring in or take out, like one unit specifically, to maybe tighten it up for Sacramento?
Yes. I'm going to take another weird boy.
They are that valuable to you. You really enjoyed using
My
them.
second game, I took one weird boy. And I'm like, hey, man, that was pretty effective.
Right.
The last game, when I played against the Tyranids, I took 2 weird boys. I'm like, I want one with Warpath, and I want one with the jump.
Right. Get them in there quick.
The jump's tough, but it gets a threat on the other side of the board, so it keeps some firepower off you. But what really came in handy, and you mentioned it in our previous show, was Smite.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Smite spam.
It was an error on my opponent's part. The closest model to me was the Swarm Lord.
There you go.
So I was able to hit him with Smite a couple times, which got the wounds down to where I could finish him off with my other guys.
Nice.
So I'm thinking, well, then I want 3. I want 3 of them.
Dude,
Because-
Smite spam is
Yeah.
real, and it really forces your opponent to think about where they're putting those characters, or you're going to put the Smite on them. You know what I mean? And there's really no saves for most of that kind of stuff.
And the amazing thing with the Weird Boy is the WA energy, where for every 10 orc models, that's what it read.
Not units, right?
Not units, models. For every 10 orc models within 10 inches, you get +1 on your Psycho roll.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if you go above 12, you go 12 or above, you perils.
However,
But you can be strategic about your positioning.
yeah.
And then that gets that Smite up to a D6 as far as I see it.
Oh, yeah. I would agree
So
with you.
now you're doing a
100%.
D6. You can almost guarantee you're going to get that D6. And as an orc player, I might choose to go ahead and I'll take the perils. I'm not going to die.
Yes.
Weird Boy's got 4 wounds, and he's only 62 points. So
Right.
very
So
strategic.
take the perils once, get the shot off, and go from there.
Yep.
All right, pretty interesting. So, Dave, as you know, I've been playing Chaos Space Marine, specifically Death Guard, as my main. My goal has been to try to have a nice rear backfield shooting zone, which is primarily the Death Guard because they're so resilient.
I don't want to hear about your nice rear, Dave.
Bam. And then something strong and tough up front that can engage an opponent that's hiding on the other side of the field. So I've taken 2 battalion detachments, one Death Guard, which is usually floating around 1,200 points, and the other one being World Eaters, floating around 800 points, plus or minus.
And I've watched your games, and you're achieving that goal. And I won't say it's frustrating, because when you were playing the Tyranids, I'm like, I didn't want either one of you to win. So, but I'm watching and get distracted, go do something, come back out in the garage. And I'm like, why are these vehicles still back here?
Mm-hmm.
Why does Dave still have those vehicles back there? So what you're doing is working, and you've got those guys up front hammering stuff. People are having to commit a lot of foot units to it to deal with your heavy duties.
Yeah, we're
up
getting
front.
there. I think I need a little more firepower somehow, and I haven't quite decided where I'm going to bring that in. I think it's good to have a couple of strong melee units floating around out there. It's good to have something that you can take to the backfield. I brought in some Raptors just so I have a backfield threat that can drop back there. But I'm still working on that. I think my Death Guard zone I like. I have 2 Lace Cannon Predators. I got
I hate those.
a Forged Fiend, which has not been that good. The Forged Fiend is a 4+ hit and fighter, right? So you need 4+. I put him within 6 inches of a lord, so he gets to reroll 1s. But it doesn't sound like much, but missing on 2s and 3s hurts. You roll your shots, you get 8 shots, and now you're only hitting with 5s.
You're not going to get any sympathy for only hitting on 5s. Welcome to Orc World.
Yeah, but he costs.
Yeah,
you get probably back like 55 cannons for that one guy, right? So it's
cannons. Still love cannons, by the way.
So I got a unit of Poxwalkers out there. I think one of my shining stars have been using Nurglings as troops because their deployment's interesting. They can deploy anywhere that's 9 inches from the opponent's deployment edge. So it's not from the opponent's models. It's opponent's deployment edge, which is interesting. I think it's one of the only units that has that kind of verbiage. So in theory, let's say I'm playing a Space Marine guy. He puts a group of scouts out there because he wants to put a bubble where people can't get in. I could put my Nurglings right beside his scouts as long as they're 9 inches from that deployment
They're not
edge.
that nasty, and you didn't do it to me, but I saw you do it in your other games. You can't ignore units, no matter what they are.
Yeah.
They're disruptive. So that just makes somebody deal with it. Something in your army that's been exciting to watch, and I hate it, and I want to smash your models, are who those guys that get to attack twice?
Oh, the Corn Berserkers.
I don't like them.
Yeah, they're powerful mojo, man. Yeah, they're expensive, but yeah, they get attacked twice. And that was one of the things we learned about our armies, and I've been going through that rules and queries on Facebook and stuff like that, and they've done it this way in Frontline. But those are 2 separate activations, right? So as we all know how it works, there's things you got to learn. Those are separate activations, but they are a good beat stick unit. They do a lot of wounds. I think they're good for hordes. Like they can go into like a 10-man unit of Berserkers. If they're going first, they have a good chance of wiping out most of your orcs before they even get to go back if you're a 20-man block.
What are those called again?
Corn Berserkers.
Yeah, those guys are cornholers because that's what happened. Dave is a master of clogging lanes.
That's important.
And I had a nice, I think I had 20 plus orc boys,
Yeah.
but there was a narrow front between some terrain and my own vehicle. And you've got those cornholes right there. And they're going and thumping on me, and I didn't get to. You wiped them out. I didn't get to do anything.
Yeah,
with
you
that.
came in. I think you only out of that 20, you could only attack with 5, and then I counterattacked with all my first and then my second, and wiped out all 20 of those orc boys with.
I still like you, just not
5
very
berserkers.
much.
So yeah, that's what I've been doing. I still though don't know if I have enough firepower for like those Tyranids. Eventually overran me. I couldn't put enough firepower into those Gene Stealers. I was able to take good shots. I took out a Swarm Lord. I took out that big Exocrine in 1 round of shooting at the back. That was his far away artillery. I did good work on there, but his little Griblies, those Gene Stealers, I didn't have a good answer for him.
So that's interesting because I played same opponent, Matt. Shout out to Matt. I played the same opponent, same army. He played the same list, and I had the opposite. His Gene Stealers came at me, and they did some work, but I was able to deal with them in hand to hand.
Right.
Because I'm an orc boy.
Right.
But I could not knock those. What are those guys in the back? Those
The Exocrines?
Those were just nasty.
Yes, they have
It's
a
too
long
much.
range.
They've got more
12
range
shots.
than I do, and they just cut through me. So,
Yeah.
Fortunately, I did have a big mech with a custom force field, so it helped a little bit.
That helps a little bit. So on our road to the BAO, that's what we're looking at right now. Dave's probably going to bring in some weird boys. I'm looking to. I want to keep those predators in the back, but I need to bring in a little bit more for horde control. And so the Blight drone is fantastic. You played against that one monstrous creature that it's got twin flamers, re-rolling wounds. It's not bad at all. So
Those beautiful models you got in the box set, right?
That's right, in the box set. So I might. I had a chariot of Zinch I summoned in, which is 90-something points. So I might drop that. Bring in a Blight drone, but take out the Forge Fiend. I'd like to get 2, but we'll see. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a challenge, Dave. It's challenges. That's the fun part, trying to build a list. You try all these different things.
Yeah, I think you should probably just keep changing it all the way up to the day we leave. That way I come out victorious.
Oh, you dirty dog.
In our BAO.
You dirty dog. Well, hey, everybody. That's kind of our road so far to the BAO. That's the adjustments we've been making. I tell you, play the missions. I lost that game against the Tyranids last night because I didn't play the missions. I took over all of one side, and it didn't do me any good because I didn't have my heavy support in the right spots to seize those victory points at the end.
I thought you were doing all right.
I did all right.
And while we
but I
may
lost.
not be hitting a lot of tournaments, we're throwing down on Monday nights in the garage.
Yeah, that's right. And we use the ITC tournament packet. We do random rolls. We don't know what we're getting, and we get in there and we try to play a tournament game to challenge ourselves for tournament play.
And it's 100 degrees outside. We don't care.
Oh, it's a little warm.
How about a cooler?
Last thing I want to say is everybody double check your list. Double check your list. Make sure there's so many points involved. You're paying for pistols and ridiculous garbage.
It's not that bad. It's not that frustrating. It's just everybody needs to be diligent. It's like now we're all accountants.
That's right.
Make sure the safest thing is just look. You have to look at everything.
Yes. Make sure you know you're filling your proper slots for your detachments, and make sure you're spending the right points.
I couldn't believe it. Like, you mean I get attack squigs for free? I didn't know that. I couldn't believe it when I saw it.
Right.
And then you step back and you realize, hey, that's the way it's meant to be.
That's the way it's meant to be. It's well balanced, but we do need to do our due diligence. You don't want to be that guy at the tournament who's got it wrong accidentally and definitely not on purpose. Hey.
Accidentally on purpose.
Everybody, this is Dave.
And Dave.
And we will see you.
And you.
At
the BAO Primer.
BAO Primer.
And the BAO.
July 15th. Great Escapes Games. Sacramento, California. And at the BAO. Hey, if you see our show, come on by the BAO. Say hi. We'd love to put you on the stream there for a little bit. We'd appreciate it. And you all take care and have a great 2 weeks.
And thanks for watching.
Bye.